Hey there, Brian King here. I had a few interesting things kind of come on my radar today that led me to a bigger concept that I want to make sure I share with you. The first was a post in one of the many Facebook groups I belong to. And the post spoke to the fact that it's not really necessary to have a passion in order to have some direction in life or some purpose. There's a big misnomer out there that everything has to be your passion. If you have to find your purpose, your meaning for life. Otherwise, you're lost and your life won't really have any kind of meaning to it. And that's just simply not the case. That's definitely not what I found to be the case. And a lot of other people that I know haven't found that to be the case either. So that's the first thing that happened. Second thing that happened is I had a nice conversation with one of my boys about that very same topic. Because our kids go through K through 12 public school. And if not, the private schools kind of work in a similar fashion, which is this idea that success is a linear progression. You start at a certain level of classes, and those classes lead you to other classes, and things kind of stack up like bricks. And it's a straight line, and it's relatively smooth. There's not a lot of deviation. You follow the curriculum, and then you graduate, and you're supposed to graduate with some idea of what you want to do for the rest of your life. That's kind of how they do things. That's not how life works. As you as adults know, life throws you an awful lot of curveballs, some twists and turns, some opportunities that you didn't even anticipate. Case in point, the direction my life went. I went through school really liking theater. I liked being, a clown. I did performances as clowns. I liked the stage. There was a part of me that wanted to perform. In fact, right after I graduated high school, I got word that I was unanimously accepted into Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College, which at that point was located in Florida. It's now relocated to Wisconsin. So my destiny was set as far as I was concerned. I was going to go off to clown college. Afraid not. Because 3 weeks after that is when I was diagnosed with a recurrence of my cancer. So I spent the summer in chemotherapy, not at clown college. So when I started recovering from that and decided to start going to community college, I had to figure out what the heck am I going to do with my life. I'm not sure. I was interested in psychology, maybe anthropology or maybe fire science like my dad, or maybe become a police officer. I knew I wanted to work with people, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And it was around that time that I started working with a social worker because I was so angry from my chemo still. I was depressed. I had some trust issues. And the relationship I had with that social worker became so instrumental in my transformation and my faith in my ability to go forward that I decided to go into social work because of that thing. So you see, I started with that one linear path, thought I had it made in terms of my decision, what I want to do. But then life threw me something that took me in a different direction. So I went and got my master's degree in social work, graduated, and I went into hospice work. Okay? I really enjoyed hospice. Wasn't my passion, but it was very interesting because I never really knew what the day would bring. I kind of like that element of surprise and discovery. Every new family that I met was going to be a new challenge, a new opportunity. So it was never boring. Very, very rarely ever felt routine. And I did that for about 5 years. And during that time, I got married, started a family. Then I found out my oldest boy was on the autism spectrum, and he was really struggling. And he needed all my energy, all the time that I could give him. And I had to immerse myself into that information so I could become his number one advocate and teach him the skills he would need to succeed. And that endeavor became so much a part of my life that suddenly the autism spectrum became far more interesting to me than hospice did. So that was one of the many reasons why I decided to quit hospice and open my own practice, working with people on the autism spectrum. And that's something that I've been doing for, the past almost 10 years. But then, as my boys started really beginning to hold their own and did some really successful work and are doing they're stable. They're doing wonderful things. That's when I learned that ADHD was true for me, as well as my boys. And the more I began looking into that and learning the strategies, the more interesting that became. So I then switched to ADHD. Not necessarily a passion, but very interesting. There's always this puzzle. There's always these problems to solve. There's always these new strategies to discover and share and help people. So you see, my whole life has been about giving other people some hope, some experience, helping them see the light at the end of the tunnel, helping them actually reach that light. But it's taken many forms over the years. And what I'm doing now is sure as heck not what I started with. And it sure as heck did not happen in a straight line. So for the kiddos out there, or even as a young adult, you thinking that you have to have it all figured out at the beginning of the journey, not even close. Life is going to give you opportunities. Life is going to give you challenges. And those things are going to change you. And who you become by virtue of that journey eventually will lead you to what is most interesting. And hopefully what interests you will keep you busy for a while. And something hopefully you'll get paid for. But allow life to shape you. Don't think you have to have it figured out all out of the gate. That life is changing way too fast. But if you find it interesting, give it a chance. Maybe it'll turn into a very fulfilling career for a while. But then maybe something else comes along. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If there's somebody else, yeah, Joe, still learning to be successful. That's a totally different conversation. Deciding what success looks like for you, and then trying to figure out who can show you the path to get there. So if there's anybody else you think can benefit from this, share it away. They'll thank you for it. This has been Brian. We'll talk again soon.